John Parker, does that give you chill bumps listening to that in the crowd and scoring a touchdown? How does that make you feel?
Man, I love it. Nothing better. Nothing better.
Well, John Parker Wilson's one of my favorite quarterbacks, and I got to see a lot of them in 32 years, and one of my favorite people. He's my golf buddy, and he hits it a mile, and we try to find his ball and use it. Sometimes we can't find it, but when we do find it, we use it in a scramble. How you doing, John Parker?
Man, I'm doing great. I appreciate that a lot. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. Tell me about the difficulty that Hurts has that people don't realize. People don't realize what a great job he has done as a freshman, which is unbelievable. And then again this year, the difficulty that he's had that people don't really recognize really how good the kid is.
Yeah, he's really good. I mean, he's only lost one game so far in his entire career. Pretty special to say that. And the one game he did lose, when he left the game, he was still leading. And it is tough. He makes it look easy, but there's a lot of stuff that goes on with being the starting quarterback besides just making first downs and touchdowns. It's handling the locker room. It's getting ready for each week. The media now, he didn't have to talk to the media as a freshman. Now that's another thing on his plate. And I think he's just done a great job of handling himself like the CEO and really affects everybody else on the team. You can see him on the sidelines when he's out there on the field, just being the captain and doing such a good job of leading everybody. And his performance and wins speak for themselves.
John Parker, with Tua, and on this radio station, there is no quarterback controversy. We know who's the clear cut starter there. But is it different when you come in? I think he comes in against Tennessee. They're up 28-0. The games he comes in, they don't put him in against Florida State because they don't know. They don't put him in at Texas A&M because the game is still close. You could lose it. So they put him in when the score is pretty big. Does that make it a little easier for him to go in there? You can maybe take a chance or two, and if you throw a pick like he did against Tennessee, it's not really – the game's not really on the line. They did put him back, which I don't think takes great courage because you still got a 21-point lead. How different is it to go in and play when you got a big lead like that versus starting the game?
Well, it's definitely much easier, and there's for sure no quarterback controversy. And Tua is a great quarterback, but they're developing him right now, and I think they're doing a really good job of putting him in there, putting him in a spot to be successful, building his confidence. So when and if his number is called, he's ready to go out there and perform. He's a great passer. He's pretty athletic. We've seen him run the ball a little bit here late. I think he's going to be a great quarterback, but there is such a big difference when you're going out there and the game's on the line and when it's not. And that's what we've seen Jalen do really good is with, we need a first down or we need a touchdown. He's been able to deliver. And I'm not saying Tua can't do that. I'm just saying he hasn't been in that situation yet. I think a lot of that has to do with Coach Saban's process of developing a guy. And Tua is going to be great. I kind of look at Aaron Rodgers, right? Aaron Rodgers is one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL right now. Well, he sat behind and learned from Brett Favre for a few years before they made him go out there and play. And look how successful he's been here.
Yeah, and you can't orchestrate this to happen, but if you were Jalen, would you really feel like you needed to get into a fourth quarter game where you got to make a tough drive to win the game? You got to make the tough first down. Right now they get such a big lead. They're never put in any pressure situations because eventually it's going to happen, whether it's against Georgia in the SEC championship game, the Final Four, the national championship game, if they were to get that far. Would you want to be put in that situation before you get to that just so you could do it one time? Or do you just – I guess it is what it is, but just talk about that. How important is that maybe for him to do sometime before he gets to the Georgia game if that happens?
So it's a good question. It's a good point because we haven't been stressed really thus far this season. Florida State went to the second half, but most of the games we're playing are seem like they're over before that. Look, I don't think you want to put yourself in that situation in a game. I mean, I would really like beat people by double digits, and I think if we continue that, it just makes us better and better because I think we are getting a lot of young guys playing time and a lot of playing time. We see guys like Jerry Jeudy emerge as a pretty big weapon now just because he's getting in real game situations. And I think, though, Coach Saban, we might not be experiencing the game every week, but I can assure you we're having high-pressure situations in practice, going ones-on-ones. And he did this when I was there, and he's still doing it today of, okay, at the end of practice on Tuesday or Wednesday or Thursday or whatever days it is, we're going to have a situation where we're going to have our one defense versus our one offense, and let's see who wins. And turns out both sides of the ball we have some pretty good athletes, so they're seeing that in practice. Now, you can't simulate a game, but I guarantee you they're getting that third down period or that red zone period in practice against pretty good talent.
Yeah, I think you're right. And when that happens, whoever wins that battle between the offense and the defense, there's a lot of trash talk that night at dinner, isn't it? When you go to eat together, the offense is, if they get the better side of the defense or the defense gets the better side of the offense, you guys would probably talk a little trash when y'all go eat that night, wouldn't you?
Hey, there's no doubt about it. Look, the offense and the defense are two sides of the locker room when it comes to stuff like that. And you're trying to go out there and win and compete. All these guys are really high competitors. And when you get to go against me, if I'm Calvin Ridley and I get to go against Mika Fitzpatrick, one of the, if not the best defender in the country, hey, I want to beat him, and I want to see him in the locker room and say, hey, I won that route. I'm up 1-0 on you.
Yeah. The good thing you don't get to play me in a real game, Dad.
How much time did you spend? I'd like to ask you how much time Jalen spends, but you won't know that. How much time did you spend sitting down with the offensive coordinator, going over things that you did right, did wrong, going over things about who should get the ball without without other players being in the room? Did you spend a lot of time with the offensive coordinator all week before the game?
Yeah, we spent a lot of time with him just because the nice thing about college is the coordinator is the quarterback coach also, and you spend tons of time in the meeting room, and you spend a lot of time on Sunday diagnosing the game and what happened the day before, where you did good, where you can improve different situations, and then when Monday comes around, you're in there trying to figure out the best plan of attack against the defense, and each week it changes. You change up the formations, the motions, how you want to attack the defense. So you spend a lot of time with that guy, he's finding out, the coordinator's finding out what you're comfortable with, what you like, what he likes. And the better you have a relationship with him, like Dayball has been so great. I feel like being down on the sideline, being there for the players, seeing him interact with those guys. McElwain was that guy for me. He was so good for us. And when you have a good relationship, it goes a long way.
Yeah. John Parker, how does Nick Saban, not how, but he seems like he knows how to push the right button each week and to motivate his players. I coached basketball at South Carolina. Lou Holtz was there, and if you stay there long enough, Lou Holtz would say the same things over and over and over each year, where a freshman's ready to run through a wall. By the time he's a junior and a senior, he's heard all that stuff. He's rolling his eyes when Coach Holtz is speaking. But somehow Coach Saban seems different, where it's always fresh to me. Obviously, I'm not in the locker room, but is that true? I guess when he meets with the team, he's trying to motivate them to get ready for that particular game or that particular practice. He seems like he always has the right thing to say. Am I right in saying that? Does he keep it fresh like that? Does he push the right button each week, or does that stuff that he says even get old to these guys?
No, I really don't think it does. I think he is a master motivator. He really understands the psychology of his players. He's in tune with the locker room. He has his leadership council, so he has a pulse on the team and knows, what button to push when. I don't think he ever goes into a meeting or a press conference or anything with a script or an agenda. He just tells you what he's thinking. He's really honest, and I think that's why he connects the players so well, of just really understanding each individual player, the culture of the whole team, and knowing how each person clicks, I think, is why he's so good as a motivator, because it's not a pre-set agenda. He's going to feel the situation and go from there, tell you his honest opinions. If you don't like it, well, too bad.
Yeah, that's right.
When you get to Auburn, and you have the week where you don't play much of anybody, do you add a lot of stuff?
What do you mean?
Where do you add stuff offensively, or do you just stay with what
add
you
a
have?
lot of stuff.
Yeah.
No, I think when you get to the end of the season, be it Auburn or Georgia, if we play them at the SEC championship, you want to stick with what got you there. You want to be really good at what you do. So if we're gonna know on a third down play, we really like this play. We've run it 100 times in practice. We've run it at the games. Let's go out and execute it. I think a lot of times when coaches get in trouble is when they try to add too much. Because in football, you got to have 11 guys doing their job on every play. If the left tackle doesn't block or the right guard doesn't block, the play's blown up. If the receiver's supposed to run a 10-yard out route and he runs an 8-yard out route, it doesn't work. So when you get toward the end of the season, you know what you like, you know what you're good at, keep running it, and that's how we stay successful, is because we're really good at executing.
We're talking with John Parker Wilson. Going back to Jalen Hurts, and I hate to do this because Nick Saban hates people like us that talk about this, but Jalen Hurts is an excellent, excellent quarterback. But you played in the NFL. To me, when you look at NFL quarterbacks, and I look at maybe guys like Tebow and some of those guys that maybe were runners as well, does his game translate to the NFL? Will he be a 4-year college guy? Will he have to change positions if he wants to make it at that next level?
I don't know. I think Jalen has gotten better every week, from his freshman year to his sophomore year, and then each week this year he's gotten better thrower. He's more accurate. We're throwing it across the middle. He's definitely improving. I think the NFL at the same time is evolving also. We don't see the 7-step dropbacks, the deep play actions by every quarterback. It's changing, and that dual threat quarterback has made its way from high school now to college, and it's kind of the evolution that the NFL, I think, kind of like a Deshaun Watson guy. You want a good character guy in there that can lead your team, and that's Jalen. And I think he develops as a passer, but his running ability is so special to have an extra running back there in the backfield. As a GM picking guys, he's the kind of guy you want on your team. I know that for sure.
Yep.
Well, we don't have anything else. I appreciate John Parker being on. He's always great to be on with us, and we'll look forward to seeing you somewhere down the line somewhere.
John Parker, when y'all play golf, does Dad ever knock any putts in for y'all? Any pressure putts, long putts? I know you get him down there, but can the guy knock in a putt every once in a while?
He's the anchor. He's the one always knocking them in.
He's the anchor. So y'all let him read it.
He knocks in the putts. It's a great team.
Oh, he's fun to play with.
He hits it a long way, Dad. Can he hit it a long way?
If you can find it, we can play it. Yeah,
I know. I don't get to play as much as I'd like.
I know you don't, but if you did, boy, you'd be really good. Thank you, John Parker. Appreciate it.
Y'all have a good weekend. See you guys.
Thank you.